move on. Now I'll be handling it over to our keynote speaker. We'll welcome Mr. Sujin Abraham. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Blessing. Good morning to all again. I know you guys are having a good day. Yesterday, today, coming back, and I see a kind of a full house, more than yesterday, or an almost same crowd is hanging around. So thank you for that. I just want to continue where I stopped the other day and try to get you back to the next round of breakout. Right. So this is what we touched upon yesterday, right? So we touched upon. I was trying to speak around the word success and trying to give a clarity around the word success. And a few of the points that I found very important to have a successful life and a career was we spoke about this hard work, determination, passion, learning, priority. I think I didn't touch in that detail, and the values. Right? Then probably we looked up a story from one of the biography of Jimmy Carter, where he says one of his admirals asking him, "Did you do your best?" Right? Even though he was doing best, the question was not whether he did well. Question was whether he topped in things. Question was whether he did his best. And we closed it with that one question to all of us, including myself, was that, did you do your best? Right? And that is all what we are end up doing. I cannot do more than what I can do. Right? So that is where we paused yesterday, and I hope all of you guys went back and thought about it, that I'm gonna do my best regardless the outcome of it. I want to add one more point to this all scenario, and that's called holistic success, right? Success in a holistic point of view, and probably we'll close with that, right? Next 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that, right? I was imagining a case, I don't know how many of you have seen this, where there's air balloons, right? Where you have the hot air balloons where it goes up, and not all balloons go to all the same heights. Even if you try to, the behavior wise, not everything do the same. It is not exactly easy to replicate because a lot of parameters vary. The air around it varies. The wind speed varies. The material, the size of the balloon, and a lot of things varies. Right? But you and I have to realize that we are not actually have to become someone else's balloon. All that matters for us is to be the heights we can reach in our full potential with the surrounding that we are in, right? And that is what we all have to realize, right? We should not start comparing ourselves with others, right? And I was sharing yesterday a bit about my childhood days, and I was telling I was a failed guy in 5th standard. Now think about it, right? And right next to my home, there is a guy, my very close friend. He was the topper in St. Joseph's those days. So I come with results thinking whether I'm going to make it to the next class. He comes with the results where he's gonna getting full on max. That was a comparison, like very difficult to get compared. Right? But surprisingly, my parents were not much comparing both of us. But I hear some of my uncles and all, they try to compare. You know what, Sujin, and things like that. But ideally, we don't have to compare with others. Our measurement of success or comparison should be always you. You take your measurement scale yesterday, and you take it today, you take it tomorrow, and compare with that. That is a comparison we always have to do in our life. Am I a better person, better in my academics, better in my learning, better with the things that, a lot of things that we said yesterday in regard to the things that we heard yesterday, right? With regard to hardworking and all these things, right? So keep this in your mind. Always remember hot air balloons. I'm not in fight with my sister, or I'm not in a fight with any one of us. I'm actually in a fight with me to be a better person in the areas that I have to be better, right? Register this. Don't compare. Don't have to get into the comparison. Me being a person, one verse that inspired me a lot was a verse that I came across in my Bible. And that verse was this. It's a part of the Bible that I've read those days was, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as if you're working with your working for the Lord. So this helped me in my work a lot because many times when boss is not around, you don't feel like working. Right? When boss is there, you feel like, break the keyboard and, all kind of smoke has to come out, right? And I see people doing that, right? But for me, it was a eye opener that I don't have to care what my boss is thinking. I don't have to care what others are thinking. I have to care what if God is watching me and what is He thinking, right? So if I'm alone, no one is there, and that actually paved a lot of genuinity into the things I was doing, right? So keep this in your mind. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart, right? If you are cutting vegetables in kitchen for your mom, do it with all your heart. If you're taking your grandpa to hospital, do it with all your heart. Correct? If you are studying, do it with all your heart. Correct? Many times it is difficult, but that is a message that helped me in my life. Now let's move into one very important thought of the day, and probably this is what I want to conclude around this. This is a quote I heard from a person called Francis Chan. You can probably Google around him, or the similar quote made by another person called D.L. Moody as well. The quote goes like this: "Our greatest fear should not be of failure, but succeeding at things in life that doesn't really matter." I hope it takes a second to digest it, right? Our greatest fear in life should not be about failure, but at succeeding at things in life that really doesn't matter. We sometimes pursue a lot of things in our life, and we fear failure. What if it doesn't happen? But have you ever thought at the age of 60 or 75, you succeed, and then you realize that you succeed at the wrong thing? Right? That's a bigger disaster. Success trophies are there, but trophies for not the things actually you wanted in your life. Your walls are full of medals and trophies, but then you realize that these are not the trophies actually you wanted. Correct? So keep this in your mind, then listen to what I'm gonna say next. Right? This is very important. The early you realize in your life, you would come out of a lot of problems you face with your emotional things in your life. Holistic success, success in its true sense. When we say success, we think about, most of the time we think about it is studies and career, right? Like, yesterday the panels were there, right? Now we were looking at Titus Baya as a CEO, right? Now Stefan as a Microsoft guy. We had Sneha from doing her PhD or completed a PhD, IIT Delhi, all the other people, everyone are there. But we see a common pattern around all of them was, listen carefully, was one bucket of success in their life. Are they really successful? We really don't know. Am I really successful? You guys will never know that probably. But we tap them as successful because one area of their life was successful. What about this? Health. There was I don't know, someone might know that, right? Siddhartha, the Cafe Coffee Day CEO, Siddhartha, he was having an empire of 8,000 crores, right? I think I had few names. I'm not going to read out all, but Ranjan Das, CEO and MD of SAP Labs, India. He is considered as one of the youngest CEO considering the capacity of the company. CEO of SAP Labs India, SAP India, died at the age of 42. All of us unanimously will say that if we get that guy who was alive, he would have been a panel, or he would have been the best person to speak to yesterday, correct? But the fact of the matter is that when we say he was successful, entire medical science says that he was a failure. Because when he achieved to be a CEO at that very young age, they say that he hardly used to sleep 3 to 4 hours every day across his 15 years of career or 20 years of career. So if you look from a different angle, a lot of people would say that he was such a failure. Am I getting? Don't get me confused. What you guys getting what I'm coming to say? We always look success with one box of thing. But we kind of forget that success is not one box. It is a lot of boxes. And even if you are not the CEO of the company, you are just somewhere in between, like, not a bad guy, not a great guy. But what if he had a good health? His children would still have a dad today. Two young boys he left back. I think two young kids he left back. No, I'm just giving a thought around it, right? We have to compare things in life. Like, let's look at other thing, context. Another bucket of success that we have to look at. We look at, this guy is great, right? I work with a trading company, right? I personally do trading, and one thumb rule about money is this: money doesn't have morality. You can do anything. That's how you get into business and trading, you realize that, right? Money doesn't have morality. And very few people hold to a moral values. Like I remember, I think it is the Parry company, which has a sugar business, right? They have sugar business, chocolates and all. So I think I forgot the company establishment name. One day I was listening to his interview. These people can make alcohol as well, because their byproduct is alcohol. They can just make it into alcohol, and their enterprise would have been triple or, because this Parry is a huge industry, 40-50 years old. But one thing he says that we never enter into a liquor business because our values and conduct didn't allow us to do that. The same Vijay Mallya, we all uploaded, the NDTV nights, weekend calendars with the models. We all appraised him till when he was, flunking out the way he was doing business, we ran away, right? Success is not all about career and studies. It is not about health. It is also about conduct. Now, whatever I'm speaking now is important because you don't have to wait for next 15 years to be successful. You are either already successful or in the path of success, or you're already a failure. When it comes to health, when it comes to your studies, forget about your career, you're not into career, right? Into your studies. Or when it comes to your conduct, already. Probably the things that you're watching, the things that you're speaking about, the people behind the scene, the way you're doing your exams, you're least concerned about your health. You're just eating whatever coming your way, and you're not concerned about your heart and lungs and liver. You're smoking and drinking and killing yourself. You might be a failure in your health already. You might be a failure already in your conduct. You might be a failure in your success, or you might be already successful. That is the beauty of it. You don't have to be Stephen today, tomorrow to be successful. You might be already successful. I'm just quoting these names because these are all close friends of mine and I can use their names, right? So, and another area, there are more other spaces as well. One more area I want to speak is family and relationships, right? Before that, I just want to quote a statement. The workshop of character is everyday life, right? It is not every year life, every moment life, right? So these successes are evaluated almost every day, right? Conduct is like when you get into a Rick and the auto wala is making the way you yell at him, your conduct has to change, right? So things like that. Now, the one more area I want to touch is family and relations. So success, when you say success, look at it holistically. I gave about example of a SAP CEO. I about said a lot of things. But let me give an example about Sushant Singh Rajput. Successful. I don't know how much money his movies were making. I generally don't watch a lot of movies. So I have not watched the movie, but I heard he acted more than Dhoni could act. Right? And Dhoni itself was impressed by acting, the way he was doing his helicopter kick and hits and all. Amazing, right? Such a fabulous actor, such a career, such a celebrity, millions of followers. But we just don't know what was going. Today, when you look at a man of 34, 33 years old, and you look back, and I'm asking you to take a pen and a paper and write on the sheet of paper and say, was he successful? You might think for a minute. You might think for a minute. Because we don't know. We evaluate people based on the suits they wear, the language and the accent they hold. Probably this person didn't even have a single friend in his life to pick up his phone and just give a ring. and talk. If some of you have a friend to talk on the phone, thank God you are successful. Don't you think? Some of you think that, I can just, everything is gone, but I can just go and talk to my mom. I can talk to dad. I can talk to one person, elder uncle in this ICPF team, or anyone. You might be a successful person already. Family relations are another area you have to be successful. Remember, the richest man in the world today is Jeff Bezos. I don't know whether things have changed overnight in the last 2 weeks or 2 months because of COVID. The Amazon CEO. After 60, at the age of 62, if I'm right, he divorced his wife to marry a young girl. I probably could say that. I'm not here to judge or anything. Probably could say that his family and relationship was not in a good shape. But there are a lot of people who are just making around 10,000 rupees a month, running behind. They may not have all the time chicken or big kaju stuff and all at home, but might have a happy family where kids running around them. Correct. So let's think success holistically. That is a point I want to break with you guys. Let's, in the hurry of being successful, let's not forget that we just not end up succeeding in the wrong things of our life. And I want to encourage all of you guys today listening to me to realize that you don't have to be the top of the thing. You can be a good student, not be the toppest. You can be good with your health. Might not look like the greatest, strongest men in the world or the women in the world. You can have a good conduct, even though you don't perform like Mother Teresa or other great men. You should have a good conduct, where your people around should say that this was a kind-hearted, a good person, and you should be successful as a good son, good daughter, good brother, good sister. Correct. And tomorrow a good mother, a good father. Correct. And some of you, age goes by, a good grandfather, grandmother, good friend. Are we successful? Can our friends trust us? I'm going to close with this because this is also an important thing that you might have to realize. That when we speak about relationship, it's not about the human relationships. It can be the relationship that we can have with God as well. My life changed when that perspective came into my life. Right? I was always thinking about people who are watching me, and when they're not watching me, the other side of the dark side of me, the black side of the darker side of the moon, which no one ever see, only you know. And I realized that there is one more person who knows my areas of life which not even my wife or my mother will ever know, or anyone close to me would ever know. That was God. And it was at the age of 16, I realized that there is someone who knows that. And as someone who want to help me in that. Someone who want to direct me in that direction. That is where I start speaking to God. I start opening up to Jesus Christ and said, God, you know me. Everyone thinks good about me, but I am not a good guy. I've done a lot of mess in my life. I've cheated. I've lied. I've did things, I've watched things, I've spoken things which I shouldn't have done. When I look at you, God, I feel so much of guilty. How can I come out of it? And I realized that it was in those age when I start speaking to God, I realized that He is there to forgive me and He is there to help me come out of the things that I thought I was failing at. My life actually changed at the age of 16 when I had this moment. It was in the month of October. And that days onwards, imperfect me, a lot of imperfections are there, but directions start coming to my life. I start leaving whatever you heard was a lot of things I start practicing in my life. I was not care whether I come top. I was not concerned about a lot of things we discussed. I was more concerned about what God would think about me. What if I die today and I face Him face to face? Will I be able to look at His face and say, God, I did well in your eyes. I have received your forgiveness. I accepted you. I lived a life according to the verse I said, do everything out of your heart as if doing for God, not for men. Did I do that? And that was a changing point in my life, right? I want to close with that, right? Have a holistic perspective of success. Succeed in your health, succeed in your conduct, values, integrity, character. Succeed in your relationships. If you're not spoken to your mom today, or you're angry with her or your dad, go and talk to her, hug them, love them. Probably take a paper and pen and write your plans for each of this bucket, not just about studies, but how your health should be, how your every area. Take a pen and a paper. You don't have to show anyone. And even to a relationship with God. God, am I good with you? If not, God, I want to get back to you. I wanna be tracked with you. And I want to close with this word. And I was closing with this wish to all of you guys. Wish you all a successful life. I don't want to wish you all a successful career. I want to wish you all a successful life. Right. So thank you for listening. Thank you for the time. Just 12. So I kind of with the time. Back to Blessing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sujin Abraham, for such an inspirational session. Now it's time for a round of an exciting activity, and it's time for switch again. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. We'll have a face-off between the experts, and this time we have with us Mr. Dheeraj and Ms. Neha. So Mr. Dheeraj, as we all know, is from the law field, and Ms. Neha is from psychology. The rules are same. I'll be asking few questions to each person about other person's profession and see how much they are informed about other field than their own. The question answering side should not take more than 10 seconds to answer the question. I hope that both the experts are ready. Can you please unmute yourself and say a hello?
Hello.
Yes. So let's begin. So my first question is to Mr. Dheeraj. According to psychologist Sigmund Freud, personality is comprised of 3 elements. That is id, ego, and
Superego, I think.
Oh yes, you get 1 point. Okay, so the next question is to Ms. Neha. Who is the father of Indian Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Abdul Kalam Azad, Govind Ballabh Pant.
B.R. Ambedkar.
Yes. 1 each. Okay, so the next question is to Mr. Dheeraj. What is the main difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist?
Psychologist is basically not a medical doctor. Psychologist is involved in counseling. Psychiatrist actually prescribes medicine, and they have actually done medical, so they work in hospitals in that sense.
Yes, you're right. A psychiatrist is classified as a medical doctor, and psychologist is a behavioral scientist. So 1 point to Mr. Dheeraj. Okay, Ms. Neha, who is the current law minister? Kiran Rijiju, Rajvardhan Singh Rathore, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Rajnath Singh.
The first option?
That is Kiran Rijiju. Okay, that is wrong. That is wrong. So the current law minister is Ravi Shankar Prasad. Okay, so still 2 points to Mr. Dheeraj and 1 point to Sneha. Okay, so the third question to Mr. Dheeraj is, psychology is the study of mind, and your options are emotion, behavior, mind, and abnormal action.
Sorry, what are the options?
Emotion, behavior, mind, abnormal actions.
I think it would be behavior, maybe.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so 3 points to Mr. Dheeraj. Okay, the third question to Ms. Sneha is, what is the full form of PIL?
I don't have any idea. Any options?
No, we don't have any options here.
PIL.
Yeah.
L is for law, for sure. Can you give
No.
me some answer? No.
No. Okay,
No
so the
idea.
full form,
No.
the full form of PIL is public interest litigation. The fourth question to Mr. Dheeraj, who is on lead, is who proposed the hierarchy of needs? Your options are Sigmund Freud, Abraham Maslow, Wilhelm Wundt, Carl Rogers.
Sorry, who proposed the
Hierarchy of needs.
needs?
Yeah, your
And
option is Sigmund Freud, Abraham Maslow, Wilhelm Wundt, or Carl Rogers.
I think it's Maslow, but I'm not sure. But Maslow is what I would think. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You got 4 points. Okay. So the fourth question to Miss Neha is, which is the highest apex court of India?
Supreme Court?
Yes, you're right. 2 points to Miss Neha. And the final round of questions, first to Mr. Dheeraj, who is the father of psychology? Options are Sigmund Freud, Ivan Pavlov, Wilhelm Wundt, Carl Rogers.
I think it would be Freud. I've heard most about Freud, so I'll just say Freud.
No, you're wrong this time. It is Wilhelm Wundt. Okay, so the last question to Miss Neha is, where is the International Court of Justice located? Netherlands, America, Geneva, or Beijing?
Can you repeat the question?
Where is the International Court of Justice located? Netherlands, America, Geneva, or Beijing?
Geneva?
No, you're wrong. It's Netherlands. So clearly, our winner of this round is Mr. Dheeraj. Applause for him. Yes. So handing it over to Mr.